Chief Meteorologist Chase Jones.
Oh, so thank you for your service. If you're watching right now, America trusts us with her sons and daughters, and it was a trust that I did not handle lightly. And I know everybody's taking good care of each other, especially out there at Goodfellow. So thank you to everyone. That includes everyone who's forward deployed. We're thinking about you, and you're in our thoughts and prayers as you deal with Thanksgiving overseas. Now, temperatures over the last 24 hours, this is what I learned in the Navy, just some calm weather. Now, we're not really dealing with a whole lot of jets, and we're not deploying anybody, so we're just looking at calm temperatures here in the Concho Valley. But those winds definitely going strong out there. You heard some of those interviews just howling into the microphone all the way down into those 40s last night, then a good run to those mid-70s. Already cooling off right now because sunset's only in about 30 minutes. It just keeps getting earlier. It's going to stop at 5:40, and then we're going to finally stop there. And then again, by around December 21st, the wife's birthday, time will start adding to that sunset. 72 in San Angelo. Everybody else in a combination of lower 70s across the entire area. Looking for 10 degrees, especially today. 77 in Robert Lee, 70 down there in Sonora, looking like 7 degrees across the entire Concho Valley for a beautiful Veterans Day. But by tomorrow, we're going to be hovering or making a good run at those record temperatures this late in the year. Dew points are in those 30s and those 20s, while humidity indices are in those teens all the way up into those 20s. But we're on the lookout for some heavier rain. But the cutoff low off the west coast giving us a little bit of trouble, so we are pushing it down in the timeline. Take a good look at the upper level winds. You're going to see that cutoff low hovering around the four corners by next week, and then it finally makes its way in. But by next week, we're seeing another cutoff low off the west coast, and of course more rounds of moisture could make their way in. Now, atmospheric moisture giving us a better idea of the instability trying to work its way in. By tomorrow, you're definitely going to feel it. Been pretty dry for the past couple of days, if not the past couple of weeks. But off the west coast, that is the formation that I am looking for some of that moisture to make its way up and around the Sierra Madres before we see some of that much needed rain. That's a good indication. Now, temperatures are going to show us where we're going to push all the way back up into those 80s. And as that rain makes its way in, it's really not going to cool us off. We're going to be in those 80s, and overnight somewhere in those 50s. That sounds like second summer to me. Severe weather outlook is quiet across the entire nation, but all the way down at the surface, just keeping our eye on those red flag alerts here in the Concho Valley, all the way down into the southern tip of Texas, dealing with some of those higher winds. Now, it's not as windy as it is in the Panhandle, but down here in the Concho Valley, somewhere around 20 miles per hour. That's pretty strong. Futurecast is going to show you absolutely nothing. It's going to be beautiful all the way to the weekend. So we have the KSAN blood drive. Then we're going to turn right back around and get ready for kickoff. Then by Saturday, that cloud cover should work its way in off the west coast. That's rounds of snow and rain going to make its way in, and hopefully some of it makes its way down to the Concho Valley by next week. Tonight, all the way back down into those lower 40s, but go ahead and thank a vet. Then tomorrow, a good run at those mid 80s, but we are going for a record, so go ahead and flip back on the AC, because as we start to cool off, we're going to level out in those 50s, but we are getting closer towards the KSAN blood drive kickoff. And of course, all the way until December, we're going to have the KSAN coat drive. Go ahead and get the big jar of change, because they're out there ringing those kettlebells as we get closer towards the weekend, or at least the third week of November already. Going to get a good idea of some of that rain shower activity making its way in while we hold on to those 80s, and those overnight lows level out in those 50s. Stay tuned. I'll have more for the break. You're watching KSAN News at 5.